for some people to pop on. Good evening. We got a couple more minutes till we pop on. I hope everyone had a good weekend. We're going to do some hands and knees today. So if you have a blanket, I would suggest to have that for underneath your knees. I suggest definitely a blanket. We're going to do lots of hands and knees today. You may want a blanket underneath your knees. I'm seated on a blanket folded up right now to get started. I'll give it one more minute and we'll get started. What a yucky day today. I did a lot of crocheting and staying inside today. I'm not a fan of cold, wet. Cold rain is not my favorite. It makes me sleepy. So I stayed inside and crocheted all day and read some books. Part of my books, I guess. We'll have 45 minutes of yoga, and then of course if there's any questions, I will answer those at the end. So if you have a blanket, get seated on it. We're going to do some hands and knees today. So if you want the blanket for underneath your knees, I suggest that's a great idea to have that underneath your knees. I'm going to be on the hardwood, so I will want a blanket underneath that. Your choice. If you're at home, you can come to seat on a blanket. That'll help open up the hips. If you are on the floor, that's fine too. Just kind of wiggle down into your mat and close your eyes. Feel the connection of your sits bones into your mat or your blanket or the floor. Bringing some awareness to your seat. And feeling the connection of your bottom into your blanket or your mat or the floor, as we call grounding or rooting down. Take a moment and just feel as you become one with your blanket, your mat, or the ground. Feel the connection of your bottom in the seat. And then start to take awareness with your breath. Just the inhale and the exhale, nothing crazy right now. Feel the air go through the nose as you inhale, and feel the breath go out the mouth as you exhale. Just making a connection with your breath. Another time, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then start to do your check with your body. Starting at the crown of your head, I always say like the Kroger scanner, it's gonna go boop, 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 all the way down. And just kind of stop if you feel any tension along your body, like if you feel it in your neck. Notice maybe I feel a little tension in my shoulders. We're gonna write that down in our visual notebook, mental notebook, and then just put it away for later at the end of class. And just start to work your way down the body, noticing if you feel any discomfort in the body, taking a mental note, keeping that for the end of class. And once we take all of our notes, we're going to let the chin fall to chest. And then just start to draw the shoulders down and away from the ears. We'll release the shoulders, let right ear go to right shoulder, and then a press with the left shoulder down, just putting some space in the left side of your neck. Feel the tension release from your ear all the way down your neck into your shoulder. Feel the muscles start to loosen up. Give it another press. Work a little bit more tension out along the side of your neck. Press into it. And then release the left shoulder. Let it wiggle back up. And then let the chin fall back to chest. You can draw both shoulders down again, creating space in the back of our neck and into our shoulder blades. Releasing both shoulders, let them wiggle back up. And then left ear to left shoulder, right shoulder presses down. This time creating space on the right side of our neck and into our shoulder. We're going to feel that from our ear all the way down our neck and into our shoulder. Feel the muscles start to loosen up. And then give it another press. See if you can deepen the stretch. And then let the shoulder release, let it wiggle back up. Chin rolls back to chest one more time, drawing both shoulders down. Releasing the shoulder, head is going to come back up to neutral. We're going to work on the arms and the shoulders next. I'm going to move my sweater to the side so you can see my arms. I'm going to have those out. We're going to work on opening up the shoulders. We're going to bring the arms out like field goal or cactus. We're going to do a flow, but we're going to go through the poses first. So keeping the arms out at field goal or cactus. We're going to start here by inhaling the arms up overhead. Thumbs are going to touch, making a W. Arms are gonna come back to field goal or cactus. See the 90-degree angles in my arms. And then we're gonna tilt the hands back, almost like you're reaching behind you to grab something. And then we're gonna bring the hands back up towards the ceiling. We're gonna rotate. Hands are gonna come all the way down, almost like your fingertips are going towards the floor. Elbows are still up. And then we're gonna reach back again, like we're reaching for something behind us. Feel the shoulder rotation. And then gently bring them up to field goal or cactus. There's our flow. We're gonna do that again a couple times. So get comfortable with it. If you need to let the hands rest for a breath, you can do that. But let's get into some shoulder work. Hands are at field goal or cactus. Inhale. Thumbs touch. Make the W. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands down. Reach behind. Inhale back up. Exhale, tip back. Woo. Inhale, overhead. We're going to do that 2 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Reach behind. Inhale. Exhale, tip behind. Inhale, arms overhead. Fingertips touch. Thumbs go together. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, drop them down. Reach behind. Woo. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tip back. And then inhale, overhead. Bring the hands back to the knees. I know the shoulders are probably sore. Feel that right across the front of your shoulders. Let's do a little shoulder rolls to release. Inhaling up to the ears. Exhale, round back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Pause at the bottom. Opposite direction. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Pause here. Take a breath. And let's get down to hands and knees. Move my sweater up to the side. I want you to be able to see me a little bit easier. With the black sweater, it's kind of hard to see my arms move. I'm going to unroll my blanket so that to put that underneath my knees. You can do the same. I usually do it in half this way. And then get your knees onto the blanket, about hip width apart. So the knees are directly underneath the hips. And then the wrists are going to be directly underneath the shoulders. You can see wrist and shoulders are in alignment. Knee and hip is in alignment. This is called tabletop position. Back is flat. Chin is forward. Tabletop. It looks like an end table. And we're going to do a few cat-cows here. On an inhale, chin comes up, belly drops. And exhale, we're going to tuck the chin. Pelvis tilts forward, shoulders arch to the spine. By pressing your palms into the mat, tilting your pelvis forward. You're feeling a stretch through your shoulder blades and your back. When you release, inhale, bring the chin up. Shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale back to your cat. Chin to chest, shoulders separate. A few at your own pace. They do not have to match mine, whatever feels good. And if you just want to stay in cow, you can, or in cat. Moving organically to try to take out any tension that you feel. If that was one of your check mark spots in the beginning, make sure to take some extra time to release tension through the shoulders and the back. One more set, take your time. When you're done, we're going to come back to our tabletop. From our tabletop, we're going to take the left foot and put it where the left hand is. So if that takes you a couple steps, that's fine. We're going to simply bring the left foot forward. So left ankle and knee is in alignment. We're in a lunge position. If you need to use blocks, you can use those. You know I like to use my blocks. One block on each side of the foot. Or if you want just fingertips to mat, you can do fingertips to mat. Or blocks on the medium height. I'm feeling a medium height block tonight. You know I like to talk about alignment, so I'm going to move this to the side. What are we doing in this low lunge? In this low lunge, I want you to think about pressing all parts of your foot into the mat, because we don't want to stretch it with the foot on the side, because then we're only going to get one side of your leg. We want to get both sections of your leg when we stretch. So we want to take all 5 toes and kind of press them into the mat, almost like you're stepping down into the floor. And when you step down into the floor, you're going to feel the engagement all the way up to your hip. I can feel it all the way to my groin and my hip as I press my foot down. Press all sides into the mat, and then take the chin forward. As you take the chin forward, feel like we're pressing your left bottom, like someone's pulling it with a string towards the back wall. You can see that engagement there as I press my bottom back. My knee is still over my ankle, but I'm getting a deeper stretch into my left hip. Keep pressing the toes down. Gaze forward, press your left bottom back. Definitely stretching all parts of your ankle, your leg, and up to your hip joint. We're going to straighten the leg coming into half monkey or half splits. So take the left leg out forward and then toe towards the ceiling. If that is too intense, you can let the foot fall down towards the mat. If you can keep the toes towards the ceiling, that's great. Working on our hamstrings and half monkey or half splits. If you want to take this a little deeper, you can slide the back knee back and take it a little deeper. Does not feel good on my knee on the wood floor, so I'm going to bring it back forward, but you can take it to whatever feels good to you. Take it to your threshold. Scoop the toes up towards the ceiling if you can. Always remember, you can modify. Blocks can go up to the tallest height if you need it. Or you can take the hands all the way down. Whatever feels good to you. Remember, not everyone's the same, not even me. I tend to like it on the tall height just because I feel like I can get my hamstrings stretched a little farther. If you've maybe had the toes laid flat, see if you can lift them up for the last couple seconds. And then we're going to take the left block inside the leg. Foot's going to wiggle out towards the edge of your mat. And then bend the knee in. So the bottom of the foot is right on the edge of your mat. So left pinky toe is towards the left edge of your mat. Both blocks are inside of your leg. You can see my left elbow is in the inside of my left knee. We want to kind of press those into each other, making a connection into a lizard pose. What we don't want is the knee to go out quite yet. We want to keep it forward, elbow into knee, knee into elbow, and gaze forward, just like we were. All 5 toes are pressed into the mat, just like we did before. Once again, you can modify. If you don't like the tall height, you can go on to the medium height and still gaze forward. If you want to try that, you can, or on to the lower height. Take it to where you're comfortable. Couple more breaths. Make sure all 5 toes are pressed into the floor or the mat. Couple more breaths. Now we are going to extend the left leg out to the left. So extend it out towards the left into our side staff position. You can see my leg is straight. My toes are facing forward. Once again, you have any block height you want. Either the tall height. This is for someone who is a little less flexible. And then you can kind of motion your bottom backwards towards your right heel, like you're going to sit down on your heel. You can do it that height. You can do that on the medium height, same thing. Press your bottom back towards your heel. Or you can take it all the way down, forearms to block, and then sit your bottom back. Side staff position. Once again, we want all the toes to be flat onto the floor, pressing equally. We're going to work on the inside of your leg all the way to your groin. Sit back. And if at any time this becomes uncomfortable, lift the bottom up. There's your lever. That's your release valve. You sit back towards your heel. Pressing all toes and foot into the floor evenly. You can see my foot's not lifted up at all. All parts are pressed down into the floor. And I'm sitting back towards my heel. Almost like a child's pose with one leg extended to the side. Hold it. Let your body relax into the pose. Almost there. Whatever you are at, we're gonna start to lift the bottom up. If you had forearms down, we're gonna put the hands down. Gaze forward again. Wrists are underneath the shoulders. And we're gonna swoop the leg all the way back. So it's all the way behind you. Toes are in to the floor. So you see my toes are pressed into the floor, and we're gonna lean back into your heel. This is going to stretch the bottom of your foot. If you have plantar fasciitis or if you have tight heels, this is a good stretch for you. All 5 toes are curled under and we're sitting back so you feel the stretch in your heel and in the back of your leg. Gaze forward. And then we're going to transition. So we have the foot behind. We're going to slide the left foot so it's back into the back right corner of your mat. See how my foot crossed behind? So it was behind. It's just going to slide over to the back right corner of your mat. So the legs are crossed. You have your right knee forward and your left leg crossed behind. And there's a spot where your right ankle and your left knee are almost together. You can feel them behind. So you're gonna let your left knee pop down to the floor, right outside your right ankle. Or you can just keep the leg lifted. Your choice. You can bring the right knee down. I'll show you on this side so you can see. As it swoops behind, you have that space. You can let your left knee down and then sit back. I'm gonna go this way so my butt's not towards the camera. Not my favorite. And from here, either staying here again or forearms down, chin is forward. As the legs cross in the back, you are going to feel a stretch in your right bottom. Right on the bottom of your right bottom. This is a figure 4 stretch or eagle legs. This is a restorative version or a yin version of eagle legs. As you sit back, almost like you're sitting in a chair, you feel the stretch in your right bottom. Sit back, almost like you're sitting down a little bit more. Couple more breaths. This is one of the only stretches that you can reach your glute and your bottom of your hip. So it's important to sit in this pose and let it release as long as you can tolerate it. Releases deep, deep hip pain, hard to get hip pain. If you settle down, we're going to bring the hands back to the blocks or to your mat, and we're going to slide the left leg back again, right behind, and this time we're going to go into seesaw or sunbird. We're going to lift the left leg for balance, and if you feel comfortable, we're going to lift the opposite arm. So right arm is going to come out as left leg is up. Seesaw or sunbird. Left toes are pointed towards the ground. My hips are hopefully even, as you can see. My right arm is forward, chin is forward. From here, we're going to bend the left leg. Right arm's either going to stay shoot out, or if you can grab the back foot, you can grab your left foot, giving yourself a hip flexor stretch as you gaze forward. If you cannot reach, that's fine. Don't reach back. Just keep the knee bent. If you have the hold, just release. Right arm goes back out. And then right arm is going to come back to block. Left knee is going to come down. And we're going to sit back to a child's pose. Either forearms on the block, which I like to do a lot. Head comes down. Or remove the block, arms out forward. Push your bottom towards your heels. Release your hips, your bottom. Take your time. We're going to come back up and go back to your tabletop. So knees are going to be underneath the hips again. We're going to start to work on our right side. If you need to move the blocks out of the way, you can first. Get yourself set up back to your tabletop. Chin is forward. Knees and hips are in alignment. Wrists and shoulders are in alignment. Gaze forward. And just pause in your tabletop for a breath or two. And we'll work on the right side. So right foot is going to replace right hand. Just step it forward. If it takes a couple steps, that's okay. If you want to add the block, you can. On any height. Low or high. But I want you to notice your toes into the mat or the floor. Even them out if you feel them kind of rolling from one side to the other. I want you to press all the toes down. Spreading them out. Get the connection of the toes into the floor. And gaze forward. Feel the stretch in your hip, in your ankle, and in your feet. Press the toes down. Make it even. Feel it all the way to your hip. And let's straighten the right leg. We're gonna go into that half monkey or half splits. So walk the leg out forward, bring the toes towards the ceiling. Once again, blocks can be on any height, whatever is comfortable for you. Gaze forward. If that's too intense, the toes can go towards the floor, but we're trying to work on our hamstrings and our hips. So we want to lift the toes to try to get that engagement. We don't want our shoulders all the way up. We want to lift up and gaze forward. Hold it, hold it. Couple more breaths. Start to draw your bottom away like a string is pulling it back in this position as well. Feel more engagement in your hip. And then right block is going to come inside of the right leg. Right leg is going to scooch off to the side. And then foot's going to go down on the mat. So right pinky toe is right on the right edge of the mat. Blocks can either stay on the tall height, on the medium height, or all the way down onto the low height. You can bring forearms down if you choose. I cannot do that today. Once again, the foot is flat in the mat. If you need to put your hand on your foot to help hold it down, you can. You have the right shoulder inside the right knee. We're going to gaze forward. Coming into our lizard pose. Keep the toes pressed into the floor. Keep your gaze forward. Remember the tabletop. Your bottom is pressed towards the back wall and your chin is forward. So bottom is going opposite direction than the chin. That's how tabletop is. That's how this pose is. That's how most kneeling poses are. We're just keeping the body together as they pull in opposite directions. One more breath. And we're going to extend to our side staff. So right leg's going to shoot out towards the right, toes facing forward. You once again have your option for your side staff. Either the tall blocks, sitting back on your heel. Medium blocks, also sitting back on your heel. Or forearms all the way down to lowered blocks. Once again, toes are all pressed into the floor or the mat so that we're stretching the leg all the way down on both sides. You can feel that a little bit on the top of your ankle, but mostly on the inside of your leg all the way to your groin. We want to keep it even all the way down with our stretch. We don't want to overcompensate in our stretches. If you're all the way down, the head can bow. If you're only halfway, we look forward again. And anytime this becomes too much, lift the bottom up, gaze forward. will start to come out. Gaze forward. Put your hands on the block. Slowly lift yourself up. And then right leg is going to go behind. Again, we're going to do the hamstring and the hip or the bottom of the foot stretch. We're going to sit back for plantar fasciitis. All 5 toes are curled under. And then we're going to lean back into our heel. Release the bottom of your foot and your ankle. And we're going to cross again. So this time, right foot's going to go to the back left corner of your mat. So it's going to cross behind. And then right knee is going to come down to the floor. So the ankle's on the inside. The legs are crossed behind. Forearms are going to come down to block. And then we're going to sit back into our bottoms again. This is eagle legs, but a yin version. Once again, sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Sit back. Tight, tight left hips. You can feel that as you sit down. You can feel a tightness in your left bottom, your left hip. Almost like you're going to sit down at the wall behind you. Couple more breaths here. See if you can sit down one more time. Releasing tension in your bottom and your hip. And then hands are going to come back to the block. We're going to lift up the right leg. It's going to go back behind us. And we're going to lift up to our seesaw or sunbird. Right leg lifts up. And if you want to do the balance, a left arm shoots out. Gaze forward. Remember, toes and feet are in opposite directions, almost like one is they're pulled in opposite directions, the belly button being the center point. Left hand's gonna come down, right leg's gonna come back, knee in, and then one more child's pose. Let the forearms come to block, sit back towards your heels. Forehead can come to mat. We're gonna slowly lift our head, moving our blocks to the side. We're gonna come back to a seat to end class together. Moving the blocks to the side. We're gonna come back to our comfortable seat. Wiggle down back in your blanket or the mat. Remember that little mental note that we wrote in the beginning of class of where our body was carrying tension. We're gonna do the scan again, working down our body. Just taking a little extra time to check out the areas where we maybe took a note at, and just notice how it feels at the end of class. Do we feel any difference from when we started to when we end? Let's seal this class together with one last breath. Hands are going to gently fall down towards the floor, fingertips down, palms facing forward to receive. On an inhale, we're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. Palms come together with a full breath. And as we exhale, hands are going to fall down the midline, stopping at thumbs to sternum. We pause, give thanks for being able to practice together this evening. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I will see you next week. Namaste if you choose. I'll stay on for a couple minutes. If there's any questions or anything you want to add to the next class, feel free to drop a message in. Any questions? You're welcome, Jody. Hi, Jackie. Sorry, I'm trying not to get my big old mug right on there with my boobies. Oh, see you Thursday, Carmela. I'm excited. Well, if there's no questions, I will close it out for next week. And if you have anything that you want that's bothering you, or you want me to add to next Sunday's evening class, you can always message me. I'll be glad to add it in. Go ahead and add that in. So feel free to message me. Have a great week. Bye.